Hello, hello. We are back at it again. It's me, Susie Bowers, and this is Everything Hypnosis Expert Interview Series. And we kicked this off with my friend Dan Goyette. And for whatever reason, technology kings and universe didn't cooperate. So I want to thank my dear friend, Mark of Hypnosis. Mark, thanks for the heads up and giving me a message and letting us know that the sound was not working right. So I'm going to check everything in just a minute. But Dan was telling an amazing story, and I'm really just ticked off at the technology gods right now because it was so good. Anyway, so I'm going to bring Dan back on. Here he comes. And then maybe we can get him to tell us that story again. That was just too awesome. So okay, I'm just going to back up a little bit. So just a little bit about Dan. He's the founder of the Michigan Hypnotherapy Guild. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes, and also Hypno Cafe podcast and magazine. And we were talking about how Dan got started in hypnosis. He used to be a paramedic. So we were talking about how hypnosis works really well for emergencies and helping people to overcome fears and phobias and that sort of thing. So Dan, please tell us that story about the guy and you go ahead.
The thing. Yes. This was a gentleman that we had picked up as we were talking about medicine and using hypnosis in the ambulance, and it's not something I do a lot of. There's been 3 instances where I've had to use it. And this was one of the particular ones. We picked this gentleman up at one of the primary cares in Michigan. He was right across the street from the hospital. Chest pain, as often they do, gave him the nitro, gave him the aspirin. It seems okay, but he's really sweaty, what we call diaphoretic, because we have to have cool medical names so we can sound smart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So we pick him up. I put him in the truck. I get him out there. We're going to get going to the hospital, and he's just all sweaty. And I said, "Are you okay? Are you having chest pain?" "No, it's gone." "Well," I said, "well, you're really diaphoretic. You're really sweaty. So what's going on there?" And he goes, "Well, I'm terrified of needles." I said, "Well, don't worry. We're just across the street. I'm not going to put any needles in you or poke you with anything." So he's very happy about that. He said, "Oh, my God, thank you." So drive across the road to the hospital, get into the hospital, put him in the room. The nurse comes in. I know the nurse. Start talking to him. He's still having a little bit of chest pain. So they start talking to him about, "Hey, we're going to put this IV in you." And he goes, "Nope." And they're like, "What? No IV, no needles. Needles are bad." And he's just basically telling the nurse that's not going to happen. She goes, "Well, how are we going to get in there?" "You're not. I will punch a nurse. I'll kick a doctor. I've bit people." Now, I know this nurse, and I've known her for many years, and I didn't want her to, bit or kicked, and I didn't want the fight in the ER. So I close the door. I tell him who I am and what I do, and he is all about it. He's very willing to try this. So I drop him down into a really deep state of hypnosis. And the nurse obviously gets the tourniquet around the arm, starts with the needle, puts it in the skin. Guy does not move. He's just eyes closed, breathing, relax. Not
amazing.
Moving. Yes. So she looks at me, looks at him, looks at the needle, looks at him, looks at me, kind of wiggling it. I'm like, "Just put it together, finish it. What are you doing? Don't wiggle it. When have you ever wiggled a needle?" So she finishes it, gets it all put together. I bring the guy up out of the hypnotic state. He looks at his arm and there's nothing there. And I said, "It's in the other arm, boss." And he looks at that arm and he was amazed. He's like, "How did you do that?" "I didn't even feel that. How did you do that?" And I said, "Well, it's just one of those things that we do as, professional hypnotherapists." And I looked at the nurse and I said, "Now don't tell anyone that we did this because I helped you out." And what she heard was, "Run, tell everyone right."
Oh, no. Oh, no. Did you get in trouble?
Yeah. They did call and say, "Listen, we understand you're trying to help, but you can't be using your voodoo in the hospital."
Your voodoo. I mean, how ridiculous, your voodoo.
So, yeah, and I did correct the doctor. I'm like, "First of all, it's pronounced voodoo." And which I did that in the first story. So, but the cool thing of it is when they went back in a while to do a blood draw, as I'm shaking my workstation here, he was like, "Nope, you better call that guy back." So they had to call me back, and they're like, "Listen, we told you that you shouldn't be doing that, but if you could come do that one more time," as I date myself with my phone. "Hi there. Yeah. How you doing? Everybody okay?" So, yeah.
Did it flip?
It did flip.
Those are my favorite flip phone. The flip phone. That is such a great story, and it really just solidifies, what I was talking about. So back in my first hypnotherapy certification in 1889, I my mentor and teacher had us watch a VHS tape on hypnosis in emergency situations, and that really kind of intrigued me because you were a paramedic and you were in that field, and it really showed how you could help people stop bleeding if they're like unconscious. Like they showed an example of a guy falling off his bike going really fast. He was unconscious, he had a laceration and he's bleeding, and the paramedic, knowing the hypnosis, could use the suggestions in a very authoritative command kind of way to stop that bleeding, and it happens. That's because that's the nature of the subconscious, is to listen like that. And then just like you're talking about, my ex-husband, forget it. I'm like, we're getting insurance. We're getting life insurance. They're going to come draw your blood. He's like, oh, hell no. I go, you big 6'1" tall, strong guy that can lift, hundreds of pounds and drives a backhoe and digs holes, and you're scared of a little needle in your arm. So that's a great story. But also the other thing was how it can help people that are burned, like you can use hypnotic suggestions to cool the body down so the burns are not as severe as they could have been. So it's really cool. That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about the Hypno Cafe. In fact, I'm going to bring you back in just a second because I'm really bummed that my okay, apparently I'm just going to have technology issues today, but that's all right. All right.
Okay.
I'll be right back. We're going to play a little video, and let's see if it's all right. Let's welcome back my very special guest, Dan Goyette from the Michigan Hypnotherapy Guild. We're having such a great time, and thanks everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for being patient with our technology gods today. I want to pop this picture up here from last summer at Hypno Thoughts Live. There we are. We're so cute. You had the Hypno Cafe, the whole stage, the whole set there doing your podcast. It was totally, totally cool.
So yeah, we're going to be coming back this year to Hypno Thoughts with the podcast a little bit bigger than we did last year.
Let's try to make that one bigger. I don't know what I'm doing here today. But yeah, so you're bringing that back to Hypno Thoughts Live?
Yes. Yes. As a matter of fact, God, that reminds me, here Friday, tomorrow, I've got to get on there and get the booth paid for. So it's a good thing that you said something.
Okay, good. I'm here to help. I really am. I'm always here to help.
But yeah, the podcast came about just because we thought that might be fun. My old sound engineer, Mike Bentley from Stage Hypnosis, started a company called Redline Media Productions, or redlinemedia.com, but videography, photography. And we began talking about possibly doing a podcast, and Jason Padinsky, who is his partner, and he's also a first responder. Mike's a first responder. We're all first responders. Said, yeah, Jason will produce it. It'll be great. So we kind of put it together, and we said to ourselves, we got to take it out to Hypno Thoughts because it was the 10-year anniversary. And I actually wasn't going to go until, Heather said, no, it's the 10-year anniversary. You're taking the stuff out there and you're letting people know what we're doing. And when Heather tells me to do something, I do it right away. Right away.
You're a smart man.
Yes. It was a lot of fun having you there as getting interviewed and everything like that. And just, it was a blast. We had so much fun. Mary Welp and Anthony Glitch were in our little corner, and we were just the three of us were just having just a hoot, if you will. And that's a Scottish word. So But yeah,
A huge, would have you a
yeah.
huge.
It's good. And but so we thought to ourselves, well, we got to take it back this year, and we'll be able to use the teleprompter a little bit better than we did last year. We've got some new technology for us to go live with, as it's working so great for you here today. Don't feel bad though. Every time I have ever tried to do something live, it just implodes on me. But yes,
It can
that,
happen.
yeah.
I've been lucky actually. The last year has been really, really good. And speaking of Mary Welp, she was on the expert interview series last year. And so I'll be looking forward to getting her back on here as well. And so many fun people. We just have such a good time at HypnoThoughts Live, which is going to be in July this year at a new location. So we'll be talking more about that in upcoming shows. But I'll look forward to seeing you there. It's going to be a good time as always. So what do you got there? Hypno Cafe magazine. Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, this is the magazine you asked me about. It is the Hypno Cafe magazine, and it is a compendium to the podcast. It was something I thought about doing, and then Heather and I got together and talked about having an actual magazine for the field of hypnosis. And when we set it up to be easily readable, with kind of like making sure that it just had a really good layout. So we're looking forward to that.
And I can't wait to send you some articles. I'm excited that I get to write for you. I'm really jazzed about that.
So it's not like I was, pestering you like, hey, how about an article? Hey, how about an article? Would you like to write an article? Like, if I write an article, maybe he'll stop asking me to write an article. God.
Then I'll send like 20 over and you'll be like, which one do I pick?
No, never. Send as many as you like. Yeah, so we put that out, and I kind of laid it out a little bit. I have another magazine that I get. I belong to the Association of the American Psychological Association as an associate member, and they send me a magazine, and it's really easy to read, and there's some really good articles in there. Was quit smoking. A friend of mine says, hey, I heard it helps. Can you try it and work it? I'm like, okay. And the class that I had taken had given me this program for it. So I said, okay. And he goes, well, I don't know if I can pay you, but my wife will make you some chocolate chunk cookies. And I was like, sold. Boom, done. Because I know what you're thinking. Dan, chocolate chunk cookies. Listen, these aren't just any chocolate chunk cookies. These are Michigan-made supreme chocolate chunk cookies. So I was all about it. So 1 dozen cookies later, that guy was done with smoking. And I got started. I ate
some great marketing.
Yes. Every one of them. Like they were the last cookie on earth, man.
They're good. That is so funny. I don't think anyone ever offered me cookies. I got offered some other things. And of like, well, wait a minute. So you stopped smoking. He didn't want to eat the cookies because he didn't want to gain weight after he stopped smoking. So he
Yeah, he said I'm the
yeah.
base.
So, so you have founded this Michigan Hypnotherapy Guild, and you're having a convention, and you're having a live in-person event in August. So tell us about that. This is going to be your first year doing that, right?
Second.
Oh, it's your second year. Wow. So you're really getting it together by now.
So yeah, we are working on it. Yes. So I started out with what was called Houghton Lake Hypnosis Therapy Studio, so named because the very first professional office I got outside of my house was just this big studio office. So using the supreme intellect and imagination of a well-trained hypnotist, I went, okay, studio. So, but yeah, and did that for 11 years. And at that time, I picked up Heather Carpenter, who I've talked about, became my de facto executive manager, just because she didn't like the way I spelled things, or she didn't like the look of the website. Now, I'm not saying that I'm the worst spoiler in the world, and that my website was, somewhat wrong with the courage that I used to snibe the things that I was not saying. But never mind that now. We're going on. You get the point.
Yes, I get the point. Heather is the CEO of Keep Down on His Toes.
Exactly. So she fixed it for me. And so after a few years, she started looking at what I was doing and how I was working all the time. And she goes, listen, why don't we incorporate? Why don't we start building out from this and to see where we can go with it? So I said, okay. So we changed the name to Guild. And from there, she asked me the all-important question, why isn't there a conference in Michigan? I said, well, I don't know. I said, there's a lot of work. It's really hard. It's not something I want to do. And she goes, you're not listening. Why don't we have a conference in Michigan? So
it's not for chickens, that's for sure.
Exactly. I said, oh, okay. So we're starting a conference. So we started that conference last year, and it went pretty well. We were a small but mighty group. And this year, we have a better venue. We went to Treetops in Gaylord. And this year we are going to what we wanted. What we wanted in the first place, but wasn't available because of COVID, is the Island Resort and Casino in Harrison, Michigan, in the UP. It's about 5 minutes away from the legendary town of Escanaba, Michigan, and it's just a beautiful venue. And it's really
Escanaba.
Escanaba.
Okay.
Escanaba in the moonlight.
Beautiful. Gosh, that sounds like a beautiful place.
It is. And it's really grown up since I had been there last. I really hadn't been up there in a long time. And, back when I was a kid going there, Escanaba was just a couple of houses and then this pier where there were some shops. And that was it. But now it's just grown out. It's there's a lot of things to do there. And it's just a lovely place. And the really weird thing about this is as you're driving out there, it's the UP. So there's a lot of nothing. And then you come up over this.
Tell me what the UP is. I'm from California. I don't know.
It's what we call the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Okay.
Looks like that. That's the Upper Peninsula. So yeah. And that is, if you think of Wyoming, as far as space, that's the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. It's not super developed, but it's really gorgeous to go up there.
Sounds beautiful.
Yes. And you'll come over the hill and there it is. Just this Vegas-sized casino right there.
Wow.
Yeah. So we knew we wanted to go there last year, but it wasn't available. But this year it was. It's a great conference area. It's a great venue. And we are working.
Sounds like a vacation, a really nice thing to be going to. Learn some hypnosis stuff, which is such a blast. Oh my gosh. Going to conferences is so fun. I mean, just coming together and, anyone can go, right? It's not just for hypnotherapists and coaches. It's for anybody that would be interested in self-improvement.
Yes, absolutely. And, we have really expanded outward. The first year, since I'm a medical clinical hypnotherapist, it was kind of that, But, as we began to put together our advisory board for the Guild, Jim Kellner, Michael
Just
Brody. Oh, yeah, he is. Ashley Bridget, just we brought in, stage hypnosis, street hypnosis, sound therapy, all these great healing techniques that are out there so that there is something for, a wide range of people to see and interact with.
So
And
that brings up a question. I think like if someone's watching that's not necessarily a hypnotherapist, what could they expect? Like, what would they experience if they came to your conference? What would the experience be like?
I think it would be really good. They'd get to experience like some of the presentations that we have going on in relationships, sound healing. We have, we've got a lot of things for a lot of people, and we also have some technical stuff going on as well, because I know that not Jim Kellner. I just said Jim Kellner. Hold on. Their cohorts, I know, is Grant Saunders.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he is going to be returning, and he came out last year and did an amazing presentation on, leveling up your live stream. And that's for anyone. You don't have to be a hypnotist for that.
I guess I should take that one.
Yeah. If you're a podcaster, if you're anything, doing that, that is what you want to do. So we have those things that aren't just mainstream hypnosis, but we also have that our practitioners that are there. I'm not saying that right. The practitioners that are there to help you learn, share, and grow. That is our mission statement at the Michigan Hypnotherapy Guild. Learn, share, grow, connect.
I love it. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's important to us.
So if you want to find out about how to sign up, get yourself registered for the Guild and for the conference, here is the information. It's going to be on August 22nd through the 25th this summer. And there is the website, mihc23.com. And then you can also go there and subscribe for the Hypno Cafe podcast and magazine. So, which is really cool. And I mean, hypnotherapists are a lot of fun. Any kind of conference you can get to, we're into everything. So like sound healing, you can go there and just enjoy it. You get to experience hypnotherapy, maybe who knows who's going to be there, but business part of it. Maybe you'll have past life regression. There's all kinds of things to experience and then also learn about the business of hypnotherapy and coaching. So how cool, a live stream technical class. That sounds really good. I would definitely sign up for that one. So, all right. Do you have anything else to add, Dan? I appreciate you taking the extra time today because of our little technical glitches, but I think we pulled it off. I'm so happy to have you here. I appreciate you for kicking off the series with me and just getting a chance to reconnect because we had such a fun. I got to show a picture again because we got to connect in That's live last summer, which I'll see you there. And you're going to have your Hypno Cafe podcast set there, which is so cool.
We certainly will. And just stop by, hop on, obviously be great. So I know that the one thing that we have to do is get Ken Gutso on there because last year he had to hide and he was going to pop on with us.
I know.
So
the crud kind of went around our group there a little bit, but we survived. We all survived and everybody's in great health and awesome shape. So you got to get Ken on there. He's a lot of fun. So Ken, just to you to know, he lives and he works about 45, 50 miles north of me. So we're really close. We're neighbors. And a couple of times he's allowed me to come up and share about building a successful 6-figure business and to his Stop Smoking students. His certification for Stop Smoking. And it's been a blast. I mean, I just love it. He's always so fun to be around. So you definitely got to get him on there and we'll have a great time. So, okay, well, let's wrap this up. Again, thank you for coming. Sure. Is there any final words you have besides whatever you said before? I was thinking the big word I like is like cognitive dissonance. Yeah, that's the big one that I have.
You know what? I've used that word in. I do a presentation, hypnosis and the human brain, the neurological science of it. So I've actually used that. But I will be, for those of you not understanding that how awesome I am no. Yeah, I just want to say real quick, if you can't make it to HypnoThoughts or you can't make it, come on out to the Michigan Hypnosis Conference, and you'll also see me at the Northwestern Hypnosis Conference. Jim Kellner, that's the only presentation I'm doing this year because Jim and I are conference besties. So,
yes. He's a blast. He's so fun too. What a fun group. All right. Awesome. All right. So lots of opportunities to get involved in this field. And, I want to just share that if you're interested in doing hypnotherapy as a profession, because a lot of people are in transition these days, I highly recommend it. It's a blast. You can actually make a really fantastic living. I know some hypnotherapists that make several $100,000 a year, up to even millions of dollars. So anything is possible, or you could even do it part-time and just have fun helping people. Well, I want to thank my guest and my friend, Dan Goyette from the Michigan Hypnotherapy Guild, Hypno Cafe podcast and magazine, for joining me today. Thank you. I am Susie Bowers from the Expert Interview Series. And I'm just going to talk for a second here about the Guild again. So here's the information if you want to go find out more about the Michigan Hypnotherapy Guild and what Dan is up to and his team. It's going to be a great, great time. So again, I want to thank my good friend for joining me today. I am Susie Bowers, and I just I'm going to share really quickly before we go. I'm so excited because we're still not sure on this. Hold on a second. I'm scrolling through here. Still not sure on this cover, but my book is going to be coming out. We're talking probably just a few weeks. We are totally in countdown time for the 6-figure success system, passion, purpose, prosperity. It is for hypnotherapists, coaches, and holistic practitioners. Holistic practitioners who want to make a difference. It gives you step-by-step on how to create a successful business. So stay tuned because it's coming. It's coming. Anyway, again, thank you to my friend. I'm going to end this off with a little fun music. We can do a little dance. If I can find the right one, here we go. We'll do this one now. Okay. Do do do.
Telling me to dance, taking a chance.